See if they can hear you. Go ahead and say something.
1, 2, 3.
There,
1, 2, 3.
perfect,
Hello,
perfect,
hello.
perfect. We'll do individual tests here in just a second. Don't worry. Let me mute the audio there. Hello, everyone. This is the pre-show before the bit. Oh wait, isn't today's Super Bowl? Isn't it? I'm not a sports guy, in case you couldn't tell. I think today's the Super Bowl.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
You were.
I'm just
There are not
following
many Americans
I'm just following
here,
the
I'm
Winter
afraid.
Olympics at the moment. It's the Winter Olympics. That's all I know.
That's true. It is.
No, me too. Me too.
Yeah, I've never been a sports guy. I've always been gaming centric. So not to say you can't be both, but I never really keep up with much.
Wait, if it's the Super Bowl, I heard Mr. Beast was giving away like stuff on his Whatnot stream or something.
Oh, he's
Go
doing a
on.
what?
He's doing like $1 million giveaway or something.
Oh my God.
On a Whatnot stream. Yeah. Okay, that might. I better have a look at that afterwards.
That's ridiculous. Let me investigate here. All
But
right.
I want $1 million. That sounds great.
For
Yeah.
real, man. For real. All right. Okay. Here's the preliminary question where I judge each of you harshly depending upon your answer. Has anyone ever played EverQuest from back in the day?
No.
No.
Not.
All right. Get out. You're all uninvited.
Wait,
Leave.
what is
You can still
EverQuest?
play it now, right? Isn't there? There
Yeah,
is like
it's-
fan-run servers. Yeah.
Well, no, the official servers are still up too, which is crazy.
Oh, they're official. Damn. Okay,
Mhm.
that's cool.
Yeah. EverQuest is a
Oh, it's the
like
thing
a
that it's
brand.
the thing that came out kind of similar to same as well, but then it just
Well,
never.
It's the granddaddy
Oh.
MMOs. It came out in 1999, and then, long story short, Blizzard back in like 02, 03 hired various people from EverQuest, like high-end rating guilds, to come work on WoW, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
But yeah, EverQuest is still around, which is absolutely insane to me. But I used to play back in the day, and I almost always have my EverQuest mug whenever I'm doing the podcast, so I always bring it up.
Surely we get you talking about EverQuest for a little bit.
You're not a real gamer unless you play like the text-based RPGs
The
from
muds,
like the 80s.
yeah,
Muds,
baby,
yeah.
yeah. All right, I just got to do a couple of final checks here. You guys, actually, let's do a mic check. Eisen, could you go ahead and say some stuff in your microphone, please?
This is me saying stuff on the microphone right now. How's that?
You sound great. I'm going to turn you down just a little on my end. You don't have to do anything.
Okay.
You're good.
Not doing anything.
Shella, your turn. Go ahead and say something.
Yeah. Hello. Testing. This
Little
is
quiet.
normal speaking voice.
Okay, I'm going to turn you up a little bit. Say again.
Yeah.
Go again.
Hello. Yes, this is me. This is my speaking voice. I'm speaking like this.
All right. I turned you way up. You just you
Okay.
talk the way you normally do. I've got you turned up quite a bit. Pokemon. I just saw you in
Okay.
the background. Pokemon packs. You a Pokemon guy?
There's a lot of
yeah,
Pokemon stuff in
Ma-
the
Ma-
background.
Oh, for you? Oh,
I'm talking about Bog. Sorry, I've already mentally
yeah.
I already shifted to Bog. You
Yeah,
don't have
yeah,
anything in your
I'm-
background.
I have this. I don't know if you
A
can
wall?
see that.
Oh no, there's
No.
something above your head. Oh, okay. What's above your head?
Yeah. No. Well, I don't want to.
No, just tell us. You can just tell us.
No, I'll show you. Check this out.
Is that the Dragonflight art?
That's cool.
That's
Yeah, it's a
beautiful.
Dragonflight art.
Like it's a actual painting.
That's beautiful. Where'd you get that?
Like I was a part of the rating team in Method. I'm not an analyst now, but when we did events and stuff, like they bring all kinds of shit.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. And then of course we got Pokemon and Bog's background.
Yes, lots. Is it mirrored as well? It looks like it's mirrored.
No,
as well.
it's
It's
I
fine.
can read it on my end.
Maybe it's just on my end. I swear this is like backwards here.
Not for me.
No,
I can
all
see
right, cool.
prismatic
That works.
evolutions in Pokemon packs, and I see Boggy and Good Day, My Sweet Love.
Oh yes, yeah. My wife wrote me that message
Aw,
the other day, like when she went to
beautiful.
work.
I love that. That's wonderful. All right, I just got to tweet out that we're live, and then we'll be good to go. You guys just hang tight one moment here. And if you need to do anything, now's the time to do it, because otherwise, you're never allowed to get up again. I'm just kidding. You can do whatever you want. I don't care.
It's all right. I got my gamer bottle here. I'll survive.
Let's see. And we are live. I feel like I'm 5 minutes behind. I'm so sorry that we're running a few minutes late here. Give me 1 second and we'll get this show on the road. Uh-oh, where's that poll link? Oh, there it is. Okay, there's the poll link. Oh yeah, real quick, I'll say this multiple times throughout the episode for anyone listening. But the poll is up and running. I'll go ahead and paste it in chat. You can pull it up by the command poll. You can answer this week's questions. Okay, you guys ready to rock and roll?
Yes, sir.
Make
Yep.
sure I've got
Yep.
this up and running. Okay. Okay. Real quick check. Okay. Brutal Static, Eisenhard, Shella, Bogman. I'm pretty sure I got everyone's name correct. Yeah, it's Eisenhard. Shelativan. How do you pronounce the full name?
Shelativan.
Shelativan. Okay. And then one, and then the_bog_man. I think we're good.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Cool. All right. Let's rock and roll. Hit him. No cam on YouTube, says Jaffe. Oh, hold on. Oh, see, this is why we hold on, everyone. This is important. Apparently we're not live on YouTube. Stand by. How's everyone's weekend while we're just dealing with technical difficulties?
I've been playing TBC a bit, like over the release and stuff, and really looking forward to get into like the Karazhan and Karazhan especially, and then SSC and TK when it comes out. It's gonna be fun.
That's cool. Okay, I see stuff on. Okay, Jaffe says it's on now. Okay, good. All right, let me know if anything happens, Jaffe. If anything happens mid-show, you're on your own. Good luck. That's cool. Of course, I played TBC back in the day. I've never been able to get into classic servers or whatever you want to call it. There's just something there with my brain that prevents me from wanting to enjoy classic. I don't know what it is.
I feel like I feel like I'd be more into it if the server wasn't like classic era or whatever, the one that doesn't actually progress. Like the fact that it still progresses through the expansions kind of throws me off a little bit for some reason.
Okay, I think we're finally
ready.
right.
You can stay on classic though if you want to.
Yeah, right. There's a permanent classic.
There
server,
is
right?
one, isn't there? Is a perma classic server. I've debated getting into it, but then like I already spend a lot of time in front of the computer. If I add that to it, and I might never stand up.
All right, you guys are ready to rock and roll?
Walking pads are great.
You said walking pad like under your desk?
Yeah, I'm gonna get a walking pad, 100%. Like I need to get a walking pad.
My wife had one, but she felt like it rocked her standing desk too much.
I have the electric desk that can go up, so you put it under.
Yeah. Same.
It works.
But I've never used the height adjustment of my desk, but I think I might get a walking pad because I mean I don't want to play less, but I have to move more.
Two birds, one stone. That works.
Yep.
Oh, forgot to do one last thing. I swear it's the last thing. All right, you guys ready to rock and roll?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Let's do this, man. All right. Check. Good. Audio's good. Recording's good. Let's do this. Hey, Luna. Hello, everyone listening. Appreciate you guys being here today. We're gonna get rocking and rolling here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 14 of Brutally Honest, a WoW podcast. I have with me today 3 guests that you are more than likely aware of, but I'm going to take a moment to introduce them. Up first, we've got the Bogman himself, the content creator from the land down under. This guy's focused on Mythic Plus. You can catch him, of course, on his Twitch chat, which you can find underneath his webcam, _bog_man. You'll find all descriptions in the YouTube description list below for YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, etc. So Bogman, you wrote out, because I have guests write out an intro to them nowadays because I find it's better if I introduce them instead of having them introduce themselves. So Bogman, you play at the fringe of 0.1% title level, is that correct? And by your own words, you barely sneak in each season, yes?
Yeah, by a key or two if I'm lucky, I suppose. I think part of that might be the fact that I've insisted on playing Ret Pally the last 2 patches, which has not made life easy whatsoever.
You played 3 paladins last season, is that correct?
I did, yes. 3
Well,
different
one-
characters.
Like a Prot specific one, a Holy specific one, and the Ret specific one?
Yes.
You're insane.
Which was very fun, but like kind of silly as well.
You're insane. That's ridiculous. But I love that, man. Well, welcome to the show, bud. I appreciate you being here. I mean this sincerely. One of my best friends is from Australia. I told you that before the show. I love connecting with Australians. There is something just so comfortable and cozy hearing your accent and just sitting down with people that sound like you. And I mean that sincerely because, again, my best friend just gives me those warm, cozy vibes. So thank you for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. We have Eisenhart over to what direction is this on the screen? Whatever direction that is. This guy's a YouTube content creator. He is known for making all kinds of stuff about the competitive PvE aspects of the game. By his own admission, again, he claims that one day he will stream again, but no proof has been found. So you have no loyalty to specs and mains. You just play whatever's good on any given season as a healer, correct?
Yes, correct.
And you said you didn't really do much last season because you were playing Preservation. Is that correct as well?
That was what I said. The strong one was Preservation, so we played Preservation.
Poor Preservation. Are you excited about Preservation in Midnight?
Yeah. Amongst the many depressions for healers in Midnight, Preservation is not one of them. Preservation is fine. So
good. And of course, we have Shella in the house here. I did pronounce that correctly, yes?
Yeah, Shella.
Okay,
Shella,
I'm probably gonna ask you like 2 or 3 more times because I'm a stickler for getting people's names correctly. You guys know Shella. This guy's a Mythic Plus competitor, streamer, and an analyst for Method. And Shella told me that he Warlock has always been closest to his heart, but he does like to play whatever's meta. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I played Warlock since like TBC, when I started, it's always been the thing that I've always had. But if you want to be competitive, you have to play what's good, and Warlock's not always been the best. So
what you're saying is when you're not playing Warlock, you're playing Hunter, right?
No, this season I played DK and Shaman, or the last season rather.
Yeah, I was reviewing your YouTube channel. I saw you do a lot of DK stuff this past season. Do you find the DK to be comparable to Warlock in terms of enjoyment for yourself, or is it kind of just you're just playing whatever's good?
So there's one thing I like more than playing Warlock, and that is winning. So you gotta do a compromise at some point.
I can appreciate that. Well, guys, thank you for being here this week. I really appreciate it. Let's dig into the show. There's been a lot of conversation this week about WoW's direction and where Blizzard wants Warcraft to go. And I want to talk about how players are reacting to that vision, the conversations that we've been reading and or listening to this week. Does WoW still feel like it knows what it even wants to be? So we're going to be talking about that for real quick before we dig into it here. For anyone who is currently actively watching YouTube, Twitch, etc., you can answer this episode's polls by typing in the command poll and go into that Google form and answering those questions. The first Twitch poll asks, do you feel confident in Blizzard's long-term vision for Warcraft right now? We'll answer that after this first discussion piece. So I'm just going to throw this question out there for you guys. Who wants to take this first one? And the question is, when Blizzard talks about expanding Warcraft beyond the MMO, does that even excite you? Do you even care? Does it worry you? Where does your head go when you hear that question?
I don't even know what it means. What does it mean?
My head goes to Hearthstone, to Heroes of the Storm, to comics and books and novels they made already, which is why I didn't understand the statements. They did this already. They already expanded outside of the game multiple times. It's not the first one. So I read it the first time. I just chalked it up to, I don't know, investment, shareholder talk.
That's actually a good point.
The future is bright. It doesn't really change what they have been doing already. I agree that I think Holly Longdale is also the one who took the interview about wanting Warcraft to be more than just the MMO. But like we have had this for a while. It's true that Blizzard could have done more. Like they could have added more things. Like they made one movie. When was that? 10 years ago or something?
Yeah, 10 years, yeah.
So they could have made more, but it's not that they have done nothing. They have done things multiple times throughout the history of the game. So I didn't take those statements too like seriously. Like, this is our creed for the future. We will expand because we haven't done enough. I don't think it was that like serious.
Yeah.
I mean,
you raise a good point with, you know, heroes and Hearthstone and that kind of stuff, because obviously that does branch out from either the Blizzard universe or the, you know, in relation to Hearthstone, the specific Warcraft universe. That's a good point. My mind, like you said, immediately went to the movie, which I thought was visually stunning, specifically from the Horde perspective. I wasn't a huge fan of the movie, personally speaking. Yeah, what do you think, Bog? What do you think, Shella? Did you, one of you said, I think it was you, Shella, that what does that even mean? Is that correct?
Yeah, like it's like we want to expand beyond the game or whatever, right? It's like I'm just not sure what it actually means. It's like it's very vague. Like I want more specifics. It's like this and that. I think that what Dyson said about having done it in the past is definitely true. I for one liked the movie. I don't think it definitely had some flaws, but like when like Gul'dan takes off the escape and like you see like everything, it's like fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So it's there's stuff that can be done, and it's been done successfully with other brands, like especially one that comes to mind is Arcane with League of Legends. It's extremely well made. I think it was nominated for Emmys and stuff, and like it's something that I watch, and I think a lot of people enjoy watching that and looking forward for the next season. And if they do stuff like that to involve people more in the lore and the storytelling, I think that can have a positive impact on the in-game feel for sure. Because if you know why you're killing a boss and not just killing it, it creates more like a personal sense of adventure, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of untapped potential for like stories to be telling on like TV shows and movies as well. Like I feel like the whole Arthur storyline is just like primed for a TV show. Even, I don't know, like the Deathwing storyline would be really good for a TV show. So I don't know if they mean that, but yeah, it does sound a lot like just blowing hot air for marketing sort of thing. I don't know if they're actually going to do anything about it.
I mean, I think that's definitely a fair point, is that when you have shareholders and, you know, blah, 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 you're going to try to talk up stuff. That way people don't get worried and, you know, lose out on money and stuff like that. But I think that you hear that quite often in Arthas storyline, you know, either a movie trilogy or a limited series or whatever the case may be. I think any of us who have been playing WoW or Warcraft in general for any amount of years can immediately think of various storylines that we would love to see, you know, put up on, you know, either the big screen or the small screen. I think Arthas would be a great one. Do you guys think that, or rather, what do you think about Metzen's comments? Like, is that even anything to take seriously? I think it came from Holly, right? About how he kind of regrets naming Warcraft because it's so intimidating. What do you guys think about that comment?
I didn't hear about that. That's the first time I heard about it. But why? It's Warcraft. Yeah. Like I felt like I'm pretty sure that like Metzen has said something in the past that like it's supposed to be like orcs bashing humans' skulls in with axes and hammers, you know? Like it's supposed to be brutal. Pun intended. I
like that. I like you. You know what? A+. 10 points to Shella for that one. All right, good job. You're in the lead.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like Warcraft is Warcraft. Like I started playing this game. I'm sure a lot of us started playing this game because, I mean, I think back to the original RTSs, and you got to play as various characters. You got to play as Horde and Alliance. You got to see people brutally murder each other out there, you know, in whatever map we were on at the time. And then the RTS becomes an MMO, and you have this identity, Horde or Alliance. You know, your Night Elves, your Taurens, your Orcs, your whatevers. I mean, Warcraft is Warcraft based on decades of history. Now, I don't think that he was. This is nothing more than an assumption. I can't imagine he was being genuinely sincere. And I think if you actually read the interview or watch the interview or whatever it is, it's probably probably relatively evident. But man, it took on a life of its own this week on social media. Someone was chiming in there. Go ahead, please.
No, I think I was saying I think that first reading the interview, it was just Holly Longdale saying Chris Metzen once said this.
Mhm.
So it's not that he came out yesterday in an interview saying
Right.
it himself like as a statement, but I have to repeat myself about the shareholder thing. You know, it's that sometimes you have these ideas that some of these boomers have that they already hold a lock on their prime audience, which in this case would be the players that play WoW and even before that Warcraft even. So when they start thinking about how do we expand, what new things do we do, how do we get new players, the first thing they will think will not be let's continue to make Warcraft like the good old days, because the players that played in the good old days are already here. We don't need players that like Warcraft for the good old days. We need players that could like different things. So we have to go and look for different things.
I mean,
and sometimes IPs get, destroyed at worst because some execs try to change the core of the game, the book, the movie, the story that players or viewers originally liked, for trying to change into something different. And some players evidently got mad about this statement because they immediately associated to, now we are, we're not gonna have, you're gonna have World of Peacecraft and all these kind of things about everyone holding hands, the Disney storybook that was Dragonflight, etc., etc. So that kind of, it was basically a bait comment. It was bound to be, these kind of responses were bound to happen.
It makes you wonder, like, did they do this to drum up, interest to kind of put Warcraft on, a little bit higher in the SEO right before an expansion, huh?
Yeah,
probably. Do you think that Blizzard, you kind of touched on this a moment ago, Dragonflight and the War Within, and now we have the World Soul Saga, and we have, we're 20 plus years into the MMO. Like, do you think that Blizzard knows what they want Warcraft to be right now? Do you think do you think they're still figuring it out, year over year? And is that a bad thing? Because of, things evolve, things change over time. I guess it's a matter of, do they know what identity they want Warcraft to have? Because one could argue that the identity of Warcraft has changed a lot over the years.
I feel like they didn't know for a while.
No, please.
Sorry. It's the hardest bit. I feel like I need like a talking spoon or something. I feel like they didn't know for quite a while, but at the moment, it feels like they've got a fairly clear idea of like where they want to take it. In terms of like, I guess, making it a bit more sort of broad appeal and easily approachable. Like Dragonflight and even this expansion, I thought they were really good expansions, but Dragonflight in particular just felt like it was like a filler. Like they didn't know what they wanted to do with it. It was just here's a platform to put some content on top of. So I feel like they sort of know what they're doing now, or I'd like to hope that they do. But historically, over the last expansions prior to that, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, do you think that a lot of people loved what Dragonflight brought to the table because it simply wasn't Shadowlands? I hear that all the time.
Probably. I didn't find many of the stories particularly compelling, but the gameplay mechanics were good. Like, I feel like the expansion was good to actually play the game, but like the world itself was just a bit, I don't know, bland, I suppose. But then they did say it was a bit of a sort of reset expansion just to try and get the wheels back on the track, I suppose.
Yeah.
Kind of like Warlords of Draenor was like famously bad, but the raids were really good.
Yeah. I'm one of those weird. I liked WoD, and I'm not saying that I like the 14-month stretch that we were in, not Siege, HFC.
Alpha.
Yeah, but I liked WoD. I liked the mission table. I made a lot of gold in the mission table. All right. I liked collecting my little followers at the mission table. I liked raiding, like you said. That's when I actually swapped from Prot Warrior to Hunter, and no hate to hunters out there. Hunters for the win. Everyone here agrees with that, by the way. We talked about that before the show. They said they're all
Yeah.
big fans of Hunters. So, but yeah, I liked WoD. Do you guys think that there's any risk with them? They announced earlier this week that they're planning on killing off some major characters as the World Soul Saga continues and then eventually wraps up in a few years.
Why would you say that though? Like that's so dumb. Like the whole point of killing off main characters is that it's supposed to come as a surprise. It's like, holy shit, did that really happen? Like that's when it like feels like it has an impact. I totally agree with the philosophy of killing off main characters. I've always like whenever I watch a show and everyone is just dying everywhere, that's like the best. Because like it feels like everything matters. When every single character has plot armor like from head to toe, then nothing matters in the show or the storytelling, and in this case the game. So I like the idea of killing off main characters, but you don't need to announce it beforehand. Just do it.
Yeah,
Reminds me of like the Avengers Endgame movie when like half the characters died at the end of it. Like I reckon people are coming out of the cinemas like crying because like certain characters had got like clicked out of existence or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you're right, like the movie that followed that where they yeah, exactly. But then the movie that followed it, where they brought them all back, like I don't know, like I don't want to get into like a debate about which Avengers movies were good and which ones weren't, but like they kind of killed the whole vibe. I like it when characters unexpectedly die because it makes it feel more real.
I too agree that dying is cool, but there's a problem here. The problem is that if you kill off a character from Blizzard, from WoW, from the lore, right? The implication, obviously, if you keep going with the expansions, is that for every 5 characters that you kill off, you also built 5 other characters that are going to be used to continue the story. Otherwise, you end up without anyone because you just kill them all off. The problem is that basically Blizzard is, so far at least, we are getting to the point where they are running out of named, memorable, old characters that they already got the credit of having built of years ago, decades ago, or even from a different game like Warcraft 3 or 2 or 1, and they haven't built anyone. Like if you go back from Legion to Shadowlands to Dragonflight to the War Within, which characters are left that started from Legion? Like Legion is like what, 8 years ago? I'm sorry to trigger people, but
almost 10.
It's almost a decade ago.
Yep.
August of this year,
I believe.
Where are the new characters? You kill off one after the other. You announce you kill off more, but who's gonna drive the story forward if you kill off the major characters you built in and you haven't brought any new ones?
So here's where my
definitely
mind.
Trying.
Go ahead. You go ahead, and then I'll chime in.
Quick. It was super quick. I was just saying they're definitely trying to build characters that the player base.
Yeah, but they're shit.
They haven't hit the mark.
The writing is shit.
Like that's the thing. You look at like what Zelatath and the Jailer, and I don't know, some of the dragon aspects from Dragonflight. I thought like Iridacron was cool, but like they really haven't been able to make a character that everybody genuinely really cares about successfully since like
Boom Samdi. I forgot one.
Yes.
Boom Samdi from
Bob Salami was great.
From the FA. That was a good one.
So,
fine, that's one.
Yeah.
Here's where my head goes. As you were talking, I immediately went back to where we started this conversation with expanding Warcraft, because a lot of people, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I think this is the greatest idea ever, but a lot of people have said over the past 20 years, hey, Blizzard, maybe if you make another RTS and tie it into the MMO and build up some characters, we could have a connection with those characters. You can make those characters really fun and interesting and cool. I don't know if that would actually happen. That's just what that's where my mind went. Do you guys think there's any truth to that?
Yeah. I mean, the alternative so far has been write extra pieces of lore in books that people don't read. And then they got mad because they are surprised by what's happening in the story in the game, because someone in some comment will tell them, well, you need to go and read the book. And the guy's like, I don't want to read the book. So an RTS is definitely a better way to explain extra bits of story and to grow characters you otherwise wouldn't have time to build in an MMO than books, novels, or whatever, and other non-game or movie, TV series related.
Yeah, TV. That's what I wanted to say that as well. Like movies or TV series can definitely help you get a connection to newly built characters in a way that, like, I mean, I'm not gonna shame. Reading is great. It's just I don't read.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if I could, then I would, but I'm just a stupid Warlock player. I can't read, so I need to watch TV
Warlocks, man. Yeah, I mean, these are all really good points. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know what the answer is because I don't. But I would like to see them do more TV shows, other games, whatever. Because my wife is an avid reader. I enjoy reading. We're a household that reads quite frequently, but I have no desire to read the Warcraft books because I'm just gonna be blunt. I don't think the story's that interesting right now. 20 years ago was a different story, no pun intended. But I just don't like the story that's unfolded over these past, 5 or however many years. And so I just have no interest in reading the Warcraft books. But I too would love to connect with more characters other than Juan Samdi, which he's awesome. We're gonna shift gears real quick. You guys don't live near Toronto, obviously, but what do you make of this Toronto event for Midnight that's happening? It's like a few days before Midnight launches. I love seeing stuff like this pop up. I had no idea something like this was going to happen. They need to have more pop-ups more often. What do you guys think?
It looks awful.
What?
Like, I didn't know what it was. I went to read the details, and it's like, it's a Decor Gala competition, a creator jump puzzle competition, and take photos at the photo booth.
Is more
importantly, it's like a whole week before early access. So it's not even like during the expansion or mid like release or something. It's like a whole week before.
Is it not enough just to get people together to celebrate something they love? Like I'm one of those people where anytime I get to hang out with other people that are passionate about what I'm passionate about, it's a good time, right? I'm not saying that it's I'm not saying that the decor competition or whatever is going to be 10 out of 10.
The social aspect is what.
Yes, the social aspect. That's what I mean.
Is what is good for these events. I was talking about the actual details of the event itself. Going there together with friends to have fun, sure.
Yeah.
What would you like to see then? Like, or is it more like that's not your job? They should figure out something that I like.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer.
I mean,
me neither.
I think that I mean, I don't know what the Decor Gala is. Is it just a housing event? Like people show off their houses, and then it's like whoever has the coolest house.
I think it's a showing. It's a show off of decor, housing decor.
I mean, so showing off housing it would be actually kind of cool. Like, there's a lot of good stuff coming out of housing, like people showing off super creative abilities.
There's some unreal stuff, like the level of creativity in the housing system at the moment is
insane. Real quick, Lawful Gray in Twitch chat did say that housing's the new system. It makes sense they're doing events around it. I can definitely see where that's coming from. Yeah, for sure.
I don't dislike the house. I'm not interested in like housing myself, but I'll look at it. Like, I won't do it myself, but I'll look at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah,
it's like, that's cool.
I'm the same way. Yeah.
I think it's actually very cool, like what Blizzard. I mean, you got to give them props for listening. Sometimes when they accidentally made it so that you can make houses in the air and stuff like that, and then they were gonna remove it so that you couldn't make houses in the air, but then they saw all the cool stuff that people would do with it, and then it's like, okay, we'll just leave it in. And then I think that's like. Credit where credit is due. I think that's a good thing that they're able to see that it's not always about the intention, but what the players do with the systems that are presented to them.
Yeah. Oop, that's the wrong button. There we go. Yeah, I definitely agree. Much like you, Shella, I don't engage in the housing system, but I think it's awesome that it exists. I think it serves a purpose. I love the fact that there are so many people that are interested in it, and I hope that it flourishes, and I hope that it continues to build and grow and evolve and whatnot. But I think that's the whole Toronto thing. Again, not to beat a dead horse here, but I love seeing stuff like that pop up because it just reminds me that we all want the game to succeed. We all want to make friends, and we all want to have fun. online, offline, whatever the case is. And I love that. We're going to look at the first Twitch poll here. The question was, do you feel confident in Blizzard's long-term vision for Warcraft right now? Looks like about 50% of the people said, yeah, mostly. About a quarter of the people said, not really. What do you guys think? Are you confident in what Blizzard is looking to do with Warcraft right now, whether it be with Midnight or in general? Did anyone have an opinion or a perspective on that?
I can from my perspective, like in terms of high end M plus and performance, not really like lore person. I think that they know what they want to do, but I don't know if they're able to do it.
That's fair.
Like that, it's two different things, I think, and especially with the whole add-on situation right now, it's like they are. I don't think that they're putting nearly enough resources into making something that's good.
And you're talking about from like an in-game perspective?
Yeah, like my experience playing the game, and especially like in terms of like the add-on situation, is I think that they know what they want to do, but I don't know if they're able to do it.
Do you think that's like an execution thing, or what's the reason?
I don't think that they're throwing enough money at it, like enough people, enough resources. I think that it's usually like this in game development and IT in general, and VFX and everything, that people are just overworked and underpaid. And if you want to make good stuff, then you have to invest in it, I think. And I would not be surprised if it was severe understaffing on the whole UI and add-on situation going on inside Blizzard.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised if that's the case. I don't know, obviously, but
right.
Yeah,
I'd be very interested to hear how many people are specifically working on that corner of the game. I agree. We're going to jump into the next topic here. Thank you guys very much for sharing your thoughts on the first one. The next Twitch poll asks the question, when players struggle in WoW, what's usually the bigger issue here? You guys can answer that question by typing in the command poll, POLL. But I want to throw this question out to you guys. You guys, we're what, 2.5 weeks or a little less than 3 weeks away from early access. Shella, you're no longer doing world first rating, but you are analyzing, you are helping in that regard. You other two guys, you are high level PvE players. So from your positions, what are you guys doing in terms of preparation for Midnight? Like, what does that look like for you when it comes to preparing for this next expansion?
I probably take a much more like relaxed approach in terms of like preparation, and that's purely just because I like to enjoy like the new content as it comes out as much as I possibly can. I guess because I'm not pushing like bleeding edge level keys, I can sort of have that luxury of
you're up there, man.
Not needing to be
Mr. 0.1% title guy.
I feel like this is something I've realized over the last like 18 months is the difference between 0.1 and like 0.01 is like it's like a chasm, man. Like I've played with some people that are just so much better than me. It's just not even funny. But I personally have probably more or less taken a bit of a rest from playing too much lately. And it's more just to like build up like the battery, I suppose, so that when the patch actually hits. Like I'm doing a lot of like research into like what the dungeons are looking like, so I sort of know what's going on and what the M+ meta might sort of shape up to be next patch. But yeah, nothing too extreme. Just practicing a couple of classes. Warlock being one of them, actually.
Ooh,
Affliction is very
nice,
fun.
man.
So yeah.
Ooh.
Seed spam is back.
It's good. It's good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, Shella. What are you doing for prep, man? Because you live in an entirely different world than most people, right?
It's still World of Warcraft.
I know that, but I'm talking about race to world first stuff, being with Method, all that kind of stuff. Most people have no idea what goes on, when it comes to playing at that level, right?
I mean, it's just very hyper optimized. Like everything is optimized. Everything you do and the way you think you try to optimize everything. Like for me right now, I actually have less. I have less work in game. It's more like analyzing as an analyst, obviously. But you used to prep like for me, I would have like 16 warlocks and then 10 other classes that I need to level on expansion launch. And then you have to prepare all of them.
That's
and
insane.
now I get to do, it's perfect because I just get to have like one of each class. I can do one of each class and let's call it a day. That's perfect. So I'm in terms of my in-game preparation, I'm almost a casual at this point. I feel like. I mean, casual compared to what I previously.
Yeah, comparatively, yeah. Real quick for anyone listening right now, because we have listeners from all the entire spectrum of WoW players. Please, really quickly, because we don't need to spend a lot of time in this. Explain why World First Raiders level so many of the same class before each rating tier or whatever.
So it dates back to all the way back to Paragon did it first with the Lich King back in Wrath. So they
that
did
long
it
ago,
first.
really?
Yeah, that's
Wow.
the first split. That's the first split raid. The reasoning for them doing it was that there was limited attempts on Lich King Heroic. So they had practiced with their alts and then they went in with their mains after. Now, the reason why we do it today is that there's only so many pieces of loot that drops in the raid. And just imagine that you are the receiver of all the pieces you need from an entire raid. You go out of the raid with a lot of gear. So you just do that like 40 times. And then you go out with 40 characters. I mean, it's not exactly how it works, but you just generate so many pieces of loot, like thousands and thousands of pieces of loot in the preparation to going into Mythic, that everyone has a geared character when you step into that first Mythic boss.
All right. I want you to put a pin in that, okay? Because I want to hear from Eisen real quick about his preparation for Midnight as a healer. And then we're going to circle back to something you just said, okay? So Eisen, what's prep look like for you right now?
I think right now has been really slow, especially because of the way we have released content in this expansion, which is somewhat different, I think, than most other times, of course, because we have 3 scattered raids. We are back to having the release and then a 2 weeks delay before normal and heroic, which is then an extra week wait before Mythic Plus. So technically, someone might say, "Oh, what's that? 27th of February is early access," but Mythic Plus and Mythic Raid are out the 24th of March, which is almost a month later. So right now, besides playing the beta whenever there is raid testing or in Mythic Plus and checking out. Obviously, whenever Blizzard does some balance tuning, most of the attention has gone to add-ons, paying attention to substitutes and whatever way to fix your UI and keeping track of what goes on in the beta. And as you said, from a healer perspective, well, raid-wise, that's even less valuable for healers to test the beta because DPS players can still find how a spec works without having to be in the raid most of the time. You can't really do that with a healer. There are not too many other alternatives to see, for example, the changes of a spec or try out a different setup of talents with a healer because it can't be replicated nearly as easily as other DPS. So it's even tanks. So it's even less easy to figure out or already have an idea
Right.
now how healers are.
What are you leaning
for the
toward
next
right now for the
expansion.
first season?
I mean, I'm just giving for granted that the rest of the druid will be nerfed to, I don't know.
Poor
to a bot.
Druids.
So it's preservation and discipline right now.
Man,
Just
I
based
love
on
Disc is so much fun.
things going
Heck
in
yeah,
the-
man.
in the beta.
I fell in love with Disc a few months ago when I started playing it in season 3 of The War Within. I hope it's as much fun, if not more fun, in Midnight. Well, thank you guys for sharing what you're doing for prep. But circling back to that pin that I talked about, so Shella,
Yeah.
you just kind of explained everything that you have done in the past. So I'm not specifically talking about right this moment, but in the past, has preparation ever gotten in the way of fun for you? Because leveling that many characters, doing that many splits, most sane people wouldn't even think about doing what you guys do. So, has it ever been not fun for you
Oh
specifically?
yeah, it's not fun to level all those characters. It's not fun to do all the mirror content, like when you have to do it so many times. None of that is fun, but you are like you're treating it as a job, and you are treating it. You need to do that in order to have the opportunity to do the other thing, which is very fun. So being part of the early mythic progression is extremely fun and extremely rewarding. And in order to do that, you need to put down the groundwork beforehand, which is, I mean, some people find it fun and interesting, but I'm not one of those people. So it's always been a chore to do all of the stuff that you need to do in order to get ready for the raid. But then it comes back many times over with the experience and being part of something like the Race to World First.
Yeah. I've never obviously participated in the Race to World First, but I think I would feel the same way that you do. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, the prep work, not always fun, but man, it's got to be so exciting. It's got to be just exhilarating. I'm not trying to exaggerate or make it into more than it is, but to be out there in that bleeding edge, to be doing things that, I mean, literally 99.999% of people can't do in that moment. That's got to be awesome, man. That's really cool. Well, thank you for taking one for the team, because I won't be doing that, but I do appreciate your hard work over the years. Thank you. Do you guys think that WoW, I mean, in relation to getting, prepared for Midnight, there's been so many changes, of course, with Midnight, some good, some not so good. Do you think that WoW is getting any better going into Midnight with teaching players what they should be doing? We've got the prune, right? We've got other stuff that's coming. What do you think?
I think a lot of that probably depends on what spec you're playing, to be honest. This is because I feel like every person's opinion has been different on this, because it depends on like what classes they've actually touched. I play a Ret Paladin for the most part, and it feels like much and muchness. Like there's really not a whole lot of difference, but like I've heard from people who play say Arcane Mage that it's been like really good, or Fire Mage, or there's a lot of specs that have been really fundamentally changed and people aren't, super happy with it. So I guess it probably depends a lot on like the spec that you're talking about as well. Like Orgavoker feels much the same as it has in the past from what I've seen as well.
What were you going to say, Eisen?
No, I was going to say that compared to before, of course, yes, because WoW hasn't, like, the onboarding of the game itself in helping you approach the systems of the game, or even a spec, were very almost non-existent. So pretty much anything they add is going to be an improvement compared to the past. I still think there aren't a lot of systems to help you, and still to this day, even doing things like removing accessibility for many add-ons because Blizzard wants their own version, ultimately still the best way for most things, information and knowledge related, will still be found on a third party, either site or software or add-on or anything else that doesn't come directly from Blizzard anyways. And this, in terms of teaching players, is also included, even if they have improved over time.
What about something like, the single button assistant or the highlighting system in game right now? Like, I want to be careful with what I say, because I think, again, kind of what we were talking about in relation to housing and stuff, I love seeing people, get plugged in and learning and enjoying what they enjoy. So I think things like the single button assistant is great for people who struggle to find their rotation, or struggle to understand, or have disabilities, or whatever the case, right? I don't personally use it because, I mean, I've been playing WoW for a really long time now, so it's not something that is needed for players like me. But, I mean, do you think that's an appropriate way to help people kind of ease into a class, a spec, dungeons, whatever the case?
I think single button assistant can be really good for people to just get used to like moving their character around and not having to think about stuff. There's huge gaps right now in how the single button assistant works for different specs. Like some specs can do like 90% optimal DPS with it, and other specs are doing like 10% optimal DPS with it, at least from a DPS perspective. So that needs to be addressed. I think it should be a significant loss to press this button compared to actually pressing your buttons correctly. But even at the Race to World First level, it's like it's an open question. It's like, okay, should you have your single button assistant bound so that you can press this and only look at mechanics for 10 seconds? So even at a very high level, you can, if the single button assistant is doing enough, like a high enough percent of your total, of your possible damage, then you can even use it in a high-end setting. So I think that it's a good thing, as long as it's tuned similarly across classes, and the number is not too high. I think maybe like 60% is a good number of potential, just to eyeball it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that, nor would I have thought that. That's really interesting to hear. When it comes to what players engaging with a single button assistant, when it comes to people learning and again WoW teaching people and whatnot, if you guys could snap of your fingers just help the average player fix one thing, improve one thing, what would it be? Because I can only assume you guys engage with players at a variety of levels, Mythic Plus, rating, content creators, whatever.
Thinking.
That's a really hard question. There's probably lots of things that jump out, but I'm not sure what would be the standout.
Are we assuming we're talking about like just combat, just fighting, right? Not like, well, if it's that, then I would say the number one thing that matters most when you're in combat, right, is to not die. So I think
that's fair.
When it comes to mistakes, is not acknowledging why you died, what made you die, what did you do that made you die, or could have you done something to prevent you from dying. That usually too many players, not to go over the stereotype, DPS dies, it's because the healer didn't heal me, not my problem. They failed to see that they could have done this or that. They were supposed to use this defensives, or not stand in fire, or not take 3 stacks of this dot or whatever. To me, that comes even before, in terms of mistakes, doing damage, or you need to fix this mistake to do more damage, which there are plenty of course, but the make sure you stay alive part, for me, is more important.
What about you, Bog? Did anything spring to mind? Shella?
I mean, like, I guess the one thing that I've probably harped on with people the most, and it's probably more of a like Mythic Plus thing as well, is that I guess like people understanding the value of like, I guess, more single target and priority damage in like packs of mobs, but I'm not sure if that's necessarily something that I would be like trying to snap my fingers and fix for the broader player base, because it's sort of getting a little bit more niche to that sort of content as well. Like, I mean, even last season, I had some really weird situations where I was just running a raid build on rep for the entire key in sort of like places like Ara, because like, it didn't matter how much AoE damage you did. If the mini boss didn't die, then the key was slow. So be a little bit more niche than not dying. I'll echo Eisen. I think not dying is always going to be the best.
If we were to move over to damage, it is one of the broadest, largest problems in players not being able to identify the damage profile needed for certain fights, or in this case pools of Mythic Plus, not understanding that doing 10 DPS on 10 mobs can be worse than doing only 1, but doing 50 on a single one, even though the damage ends up being slightly lower. These things, to the players who simply look at the damage meter, now, thanks to Blizzard, in-game by default for everyone, all they see is the damage done, for example, the overall damage. So it is something that can hurt players when it comes to damage, not realizing that. So it's not that niche, actually. It can
At
still
least
be
with details, you
useful.
could open up the damage done to skull.
enemy
But
damage
now you can't.
taken. See who's
Yeah.
focusing.
Oh,
Who's focusing
there's
who.
so many things.
You can point the fingers. No, you can't.
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't. Okay, just a little bit of a
You
tangent, but I don't understand why they didn't just copy all of the things that like details and other damage meters
Listen,
have developed.
give
over
him
the
about
years.
6 or 7 years, and I'm sure it'll be fine. All right, give him
Yeah.
time to develop. Okay.
The development is already done. They just need to copy and not be so proud all the time. But back to the what people like one mistake people do. I think obviously the points that were brought up, like don't die and hit the correct mob are good things. But I think that the thing that people don't really realize, they're trying to they're trying to look at why they're like performing worse than someone else, because it's always like a comparison, and it's kind of it can be unproductive, because as a newer player, for example, if you were able to do the same as someone who's played the game for 10 years after 2 weeks, then you're absolutely crazy and you don't need any coaching at that point, because you're just going to take over the world in like another month. So it's like people need to be more focused on personal improvement rather than comparing themselves to others. Compare yourself to the day before. I mean, that could be applied to many things in life, but I think it's true for in-game performance as well.
I mean, so all of these points are really good points. So thank you guys for taking a moment to think about it and give a really good answer. Do you think, I don't know, are we as players missing out? Like, I'm talking about from the macro sense, the entire population of WoW, are we missing out because Blizzard doesn't have tools or good tools in game? Like, we have to go to so many third-party, sites or tools or add-ons or whatever. On one hand, it's just the way it's always been. So I know where to seek those things out. I know how to find answers and provide a solution or whatnot. But that kind of ties back into what we asked earlier of, like, how do people play better? Like, how do people know what they're supposed to be doing? Like, people don't know what they don't know, right? So should Blizzard be doing more in relation to that? Or is it okay that, well, third party, that's all you need?
Definitely. I think third party is definitely the way to go, because WoW is just so complex and deep. There's so many things, right, compared to a lot of other games, that if you were to be like, oh yeah, you can the only guides that you need are from Blizzard, battle.net guides. It's like they're not gonna do enough to make those up to date. They're not gonna write APLs.
Right.
Like Simulation Craft is an amazing tool that we've had for years now, but there was a time before Simulation Craft, there was a time before MDT, there was a time before any of these systems that we have in place now, and it's just a product of the game being more and more optimized as we go along. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, sometimes having things too optimized can be like a thief of joy, of your engagement and enjoyment of the game. But overall, I don't see anything else. It shouldn't be Blizzard everything. Third party is great.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair point. Did either one of you other guys want to jump in on that?
My point is that
you go.
I finish my logic first. I'll let you speak.
All right. I guess the only I think going to third party for all of the more complex stuff is definitely the way to go. Like, Blizzard's never going to be able to present all of these really niche bits of knowledge about how to play the game, but as long as the game is approachable enough at a casual level to still be playable, I think is the thing that they just need to shoot for. You don't want external plugins and guides to be the requirement for doing normal mode rating or like like a really low Mythic Plus. So as long as
So
like
what you're
entry
saying is we don't want weak auras to help people play the game. Is that what you're saying? We just needed to get rid of weak auras? Am I reading between the lines here, Bogman?
No, not necessarily. I think I wasn't a huge fan. I mean, I feel like none of us liked the weak. Well, everyone thinks of like Brood Twister Overnax.
Yeah.
Like
I'm just being silly.
in like Nerebat balance. Yeah. But it's I think it's a shame sometimes when the game's probably been a little bit too complex to even like consider playing at a casual level. But like anything, say, heroic and above, or I don't know what people would consider, taking the game a little bit more seriously to be. Like anything above that, it's sort of on the player to actually go out and seek the information. But it's I think it's good that they are trying to make it a little bit more like approachable just for the person who wants to fire it up and click buttons, kill a few heroic bosses, like that sort of thing.
Eisen, did you finish that logic train of thought there?
My point was that if it's obviously unthinkable to demand or expect even that Blizzard could be able to match what third-party sites or softwares or tools can do to match that. My issue was more with then you have to leave the inventive to the player, because if they don't know what to fix, right? Nobody in game is going to tell them to go to Warcraft logs and check the logs on their rotation to see what they did wrong. There is no guide for that. There is no link for that. There's Blizzard tells you nothing about that. So that would be my current main issue, would be the link between the game and the third-party softwares. You would have to have the incentive as a player to improve, seek other players, join, for example, a Discord, go on Wowhead, you see some guys that will tell you to do that. Otherwise, by yourself, if you're in game as a player who thinks he's failing, doesn't know what to do, you won't naturally get the idea to find those tools, is what I mean. So maybe they could direct the players if they can't do it themselves as Blizzard. I mean, if you can't officially find out a way to give players guides and rotation for specs, least they could do is at least maybe steer the general population in the right direction to find these resources, even if they're not Blizzard official, they're not sanctioned by Blizzard. At this point, if you make them part of your game because they are everywhere, you might as well encourage players to actually go there. Not the ones we know go to those sites, but the ones who don't.
Right.
Wouldn't know about normally.
We've seen Blizzard point to Wowhead before, if I'm not mistaken, through posts or whatever. I hesitate to sit here and say that
Wowhead is just an extension of Blizzard at this point.
It's just a big old database.
Not that that's a bad thing. It's just like I feel like everything news and patch notes and everything. It's a Wowhead post. It's not like you don't read about it on the Blizzard sites.
Right. Yeah. It's one of those things where I hesitate to sit here and say that Blizzard needs to make sure every player knows how to play correctly, and because I mean that's silly, of course, but I definitely agree with the idea of I would love to see Blizzard point people in a direction that could help them improve in whatever they're trying to do, right? Because a lot of it does just fall on the community. Hey, I ran this dungeon with this guy. He was doing a lot of damage. I sent him a whisper. How did you do that? Oh, well, I went to Archon. I went to Warcraft logs. I went to here, there, and that's a great way to learn. And
turning into Kermit here.
This is not my Kermit. This is my silly voice. Kermit. Okay, they sound the same. That's fair. Nevertheless, but yeah, it's one of those things to where I feel like Blizzard could do more. Like, where do you draw that line in the sand? I'm not really sure. I don't know. Hold on 1 second. What is this? Is it time? Oh, let me refresh the page. I think it's time to answer the next poll here. Yes, it is. Okay. So the question posed was, when players struggle in WoW, what's usually the larger issue? And more than half of everyone responded, the game doesn't explain things very well. So that kind of ties into directly what we were just talking about there. The game doesn't explain everything super well. And I would argue that a lot of it is just community-based. Just talking to friends, talking to people in your guild, your Twitch chats, whatever. I mean, as someone who streams regularly, and I'm sure whether you're doing YouTube or Twitch, you probably get comments all the time saying, hey, how do I do X? Or, hey, how did you accomplish Y, Z, whatever? I assume you guys deal with that on a regular basis? Not deal with it in a negative context. This is not a bad thing. I'm just saying, I'm assuming you answer questions like that regularly, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I
we're
guess it
being
is.
demand.
Oh man, we all talked at the same time. There. That was the,
Yeah.
the 2-second pause, and then every.
Yeah. You go, Bug.
No. I've lost my train of thought. Someone else take over now. It's I'll jump in after.
Yeah, Eisen, you go.
Yeah,
I will wait.
one after the
I
other.
will wait my turn.
Yeah, it does happen. It does happen. But to be fair, most of the time it was more about UI stuff, or how did you find this? How did you get that? More so than how did you do this sick move on this healer. But I wouldn't. That's what I was worried about. I wouldn't know how Blizzard would artificially help players other than just the players deciding themselves they want to learn and seek communities that offer these type of things. I don't think Blizzard will be able to help in that regard.
Yeah. Shella, did you want to talk about anything?
Yeah, I disagree with the poll wholeheartedly. I don't think it's. I mean, the only thing that the game doesn't explain very well is like mechanical, like clarity in mechanics in fight settings. Like there's a mob looking at you, and then it does a cast. There's no indication that it's a frontal, and then after like the 3 seconds, it's like big breath, you die, right? There should be like they've gotten much better at it lately. A lot more clear visuals. Like you have the new swirlies, right? Like the circle animations that is a lot more clear where a mechanic stops and where it ends. All of those things are really good, and I think if they keep going in that direction, it's gonna be better. But I think that the biggest reason why people struggle is knowledge, and I don't think that's a problem, because you can just acquire knowledge, and that's part of the game. Like this game is not about execution for the most part. It's about making good decisions. Like everyone's aunt and grandma can play this game, you know. It's did not intentionally make like two female examples out of that, but it's not a hard game to play, and a lot of it comes down to decision making, and I think that's a good thing.
Boggy, did you get it?
Yeah, it's come back. I also want to say I actually really agree with that point as well. I think even if you think of like parallels to other things, like no one's out there saying that you should like nerf chess because it's too hard to play. Like there's a bit of an expectation that you know, if you want to get good at this, then you
That's
need
a fair
to
point.
do like research and practice and all that sort of thing. The other thing too is that it is an MMO, and like at the end of the day, so maybe having it so that the information isn't spoon fed in its entirety is actually a good thing, right? Like to try and sort of promote a little bit of that, you know, like communicating with other players. How did you do this much damage? Like you building that sense of community. I think it's something that is probably the most important thing in the game in general. So having that be the way that you have to like learn is probably a really good thing as well. Like it's good to have some sort of clarity, but I guess players don't need their hands held every step of the way is where I would get to that.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. While I was listening to you, and I try my best to really listen to what guests are saying, because I think follow-up questions are important. And what sprang to my mind immediately with what you were saying is I've been playing MMOs since literally 1999. I've been playing WoW since 2005. So for me, been there, done that, seen it all. I mean, know it all, quote unquote. I mean, literally, obviously not. But oftentimes I feel like I forget what being new in a game this big, with this much depth, as much as we make fun of WoW, and as much as people make fun of WoW in general, as a new player, you're right. Is it better to be spoon-fed or not be spoon-fed? Probably not. Yeah, it probably does a lot of good for people to, from a social level, like I was describing, interacting with people, getting involved in communities, and whether it be Discord servers or whatever, and then just getting out there and learning, making mistakes, getting better, seeking out that knowledge, that information. That's a really good point, Boggy. I commend you, sir. 10 points to Boggy. Right now we're tied. 10 Shella, 10 Boggy, and Eisen, you get 10 because you're a healer, and healers are few and far between, and we need more of them. So congratulations, gentlemen. You're all tied up. We're gonna move on. The next poll question here, for anyone who wants to participate, type in the command poll. The question is, how do you feel about your current UI setup? Answer that in the poll. I want to hear from you guys. I personally, I spent a lot of time this past week working on my UI. In fact, I might even pull up a little image of it here in a minute. I'm very proud of my UI. Very happy with it. I find that I have scaled things way back in terms of the information on the screen, because the time that I've spent on beta with raid testing and Mythic Plus testing and whatnot, I feel like I don't need as much information as I used to have. Interrupt trackers, weak ores, all that stuff isn't available anyway. So I want to know, for you guys, how are your UIs coming along, and what information do you think players in general need going into Midnight? Specifically, information on their screen, UI elements.
Yeah, I mean, you need a player in a target frame, and then you have the new cooldown manager. Which I think is actually it's a good thing. I wish that there was more customizability to it. Like they're adding stuff all the time, but I feel like one thing that I would really like to see added to the cooldown manager is my ability to track anything that I'm casting. Like if I have a aura that I apply to myself, or a spell that I can cast, I should be able to track that in the cooldown manager. If I can do that, then I'm happy with the cooldown manager. Honestly, like it's fine. I want more ways to skin it without having an add-on for it, because it looks like complete ass. But apart from that, I'm fairly happy with the cooldown manager. So you need that. Action bars are optional. DPS meter is optional. The new boss timeline thing is quite cool. So. I think it's really good that you're able to have like a boss timeline to see what mechanics are coming when, without the third-party add-on, like the deadly boss mods or bigwigs. And I think that's all you need.
Yeah.
Party frames and raid frames are for healers only.
Yeah, true.
What about battle resters?
Nah, free soulstone only.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is always about how much you can take away from your screen rather than add. So obviously, Blizzard decided to help this expansion because, well, there is just a lot less to show. At this point, you're actually struggling to find enough like buffs that you used to have before, because you don't have enough procs that you had compared to last expansion. So you don't even know what to put in your buffs anyways. So before, it would have been a bigger problem. Like it was a legit issue that players don't understand. They have a limit to how much they can see simultaneously on your screen, as in your attention span, your visual ability to catch things. And if you fill your screen with too many things, sometimes you miss the obvious ones. So you had all of these 7 different procs popping up in front of your frame of different buffs and completely wasting your ability to track them.
Cognitive overload.
Now it's now it's not nearly as big of a problem anyways, so you don't even have to do too much to have a decent UI with only the important stuff showing for you.
What frames are you using as a healer, Eisen?
I am waiting for Cell, because it has been said it's gonna come back. Otherwise, I'm using right now Grid 2 as the alternative.
Bog, what about you, man? How's your UI coming along, and what do you think going into Midnight players? I mean, we know Target. Well, listen, Shella, we know Target, and we know that stuff. I'm talking about the nitty gritty, man, the good stuff. What kind of stuff do you think people need on their screen this expansion?
I think all the stuff that Shella said was pretty bang on the mark. I think like enemy nameplates as well as always. But that's the same as it has been in the past. Something like Plater or Platinator is sort of necessary, particularly in Mythic Plus, because I just am not the biggest fan of Blizzard's default
They look
like
nicer
enemy
now.
nameplates.
Yeah.
They
They're
look
better
much
than they were
better.
before. Yeah. But I think so that even that might be optional as of now. I think the one thing that I don't know about you guys, but the one thing that I'm really missing is Omni CD. Not being able to know like what other people in the party
Yeah.
have like in terms of like when their cooldowns are coming up. I assume as a healer, Eisen, it's probably even worse because you can see
Blizzard
like,
was very
against-
vocal about it, and it's one of the main reasons why every time I see players commenting about why can't they let us filter things, give us way to filter things. One of the main reasons why that's not coming, at least in the way players mean, is that if you allowed everyone to parse the spell ID of abilities, Omni CD would be back. People would just pick up all of those abilities, put them back the same way they were before, and track all of the externals, defensives, offensives, etc., and the interrupt tracker. So that level of like filtering is not coming back because of this limitation that we now have, which is quite annoying to play around now in the beta at least.
It's just that it's so hard to play the game. I mean, you can. It is coming from like I guess a bit of a like the top end problem. Like maybe you shouldn't cater for the 0.1%, but it's so hard to play to execute everything correctly when you're just overlapping kicks and stops on every single ability that happens, especially in Mythic Plus, because you don't see what other people have available. So then it's like it becomes like, okay, you have to go on voice. Should you be required to be on voice to do like semi high keys? I feel like not. I think that if you want to do like world first stuff, then sure, like some level of communication is probably a good idea. But it's just I feel handicapped without on the CD because I'm not able to make good decisions, like we talked about earlier. Like, WoW is a decision-making game, and I just feel a bit handicapped because of it. But maybe I'm just totally wrong here. But just as my take.
I don't know. It's probably a little unfortunate too because I feel like it existing wasn't something that people below like sort of top end levels needed, right? Like it wasn't like a hard requirement. It was something that like honestly at a certain point tracking defensives in like a +8 is probably like the most useless thing you could do. Like it literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But so it's probably one of those unfortunate things where I wish they had have left something like it in the game because it was probably not negatively impacting the broader player base, but its absence is like
Listen,
it's really hard to play around.
I think the obvious solution is when you hit 4kraider.io, weak auras unlocks, Omni CD unlocks, we get it all back, right? I mean, that makes sense.
No, but something that's actually super interesting is that Blizzard knows how integral tracking other people's information is for the game. They literally displace it in MDI. Like you get to see everyone's cooldowns and the interrupt tracker and a bloodlust timer and all of these things are displayed on the screen as part of the viewer experience. But you cannot see that in game. It's so like that. It's just a complete conflict of. They're basically like acknowledging that you need this in order to make good decisions or to play the game in a good way, but then you just take it away.
Yeah,
it's just. I agree with removing weak auras. I think removing weak auras was way too powerful, and it needs to be like more restricted, right? Weak auras could do anything in the game, and it automated problem solving. Like in a way, if X then Y, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you should be able to, as a player, at least get the if X. Like you need the information to then be able to do the thing that you need to do. But now you don't get the first part, so you make random decisions.
I know for me, I talked about scaling back quite a bit. And have you guys experimented with that? I mean, experimented is way too strong of a word, but have you installed or used targeted spells? Of course, it's an add-on that's based off of the weak aura from, previous seasons.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's interesting. I've done a lot of beta on a lot of Mythic Plus on beta now, and I installed it, and I found myself being more distracted by it than I thought I would. And I'm not saying that the information isn't helpful or useful, but like at what point does more information like that stop helping? Do you think that the average player even cares or needs that? Probably not, right?
The average player, of course not.
Right. But
Yeah.
I found myself paying more attention to actual combat instead of my UI when I didn't have it installed. Duh. Whereas I was getting distracted by it and waiting for it and watching that, where that pops up on my screen versus just fighting and enjoying the fight as it unfolded. I don't know if there's a question in there, but what?
That one only becomes relevant when those abilities start doing something. So you would have to get to a point where it actually matters for that. And then also,
that's a really good point.
At least we don't really have the feature. I think it's not there in targeted spells, but if it was like a proper weak aura, you would actually filter the trash stuff. Like you wouldn't keep in all of the series of irrelevant mechanics that don't really, are not that relevant, and only keep the ones that you actually want to see in the targeted spells to do something like externals or see if someone has already a defensive for that, which now you can't see anyways, so it doesn't matter. But
an alternative would be that
it would have been good for.
Blizzard does let you know when you're targeted by certain spells in boss combat, right? Like, why can that not be extended? It's like you could click a little box, display trash warnings or something like in dungeons, and now you get warnings for specific abilities that Blizzard will decide based on how they've designed the dungeon when you're targeted by something from a trash mob, right? Like, and that it does the same thing as the information that you're already getting on the boss, but now you're able to use that information if you want it on your screen to make a decision, instead of being like you have 50 nameplates on your screen and it's like, oh, that one is casting on me. It's like, that's not happening.
I mean, what do you guys think? The question that I have here is the best UI the one that shows more or the one that forces better habits? Obviously, I would say that the latter is the better one, but how do players who aren't familiar with, high level PvE, they want to get into it, how do you even help them understand how UIs can form or force you to form better habits?
And they like to the
definitely.
extent to which you can edit your UI. I think it would have to be a really mediocre or cluttered UI to not like to not show you the things you would want to see. Like you would have to intentionally show the target of target and have massive huge cast bars and enormous nameplates for it to show you terrible stuff. I think if you are within the realm of being a decent UI, I think they're all good. Like it goes to preference basically. I don't think someone is griefing himself because he's using a terrible UI.
Do you think that players are copying UIs nowadays too blindly? Like, Quasi UI, got to install it. LVUI, got to install it. Now's UI, got to install it. Whoever's UI, I got to go, man. Like, or is there something to be gained or something to be said about just building your own from scratch?
I mean, but what are you going to do? You're going to do the same thing, though. Like, everyone does the same thing. And you do the same thing because it is good. Like, you centralize the information that's important. You put you drag your player health from the top right corner to a more central space because you need to see your player health more clearly. You need to see your target health more clearly. Like, you need to see your cooldowns more clearly. I think that there's definitely something that can be done in terms of forming better habits. Like, for example, I had a habit of looking down until very recently, actually, looking down on my action bar for certain cooldowns, even though they were displayed in the middle of my screen, like on my central.
I did the same thing.
Just hide them in combat, and there's no problem.
Exactly, but that's a thing you do with your UI to create better habits, right? So that's I'm just saying, like, there's definitely things you can do with your UI to create better habits, like move stuff in different places. And I heard a really interesting take lately on UI stuff. You have some really, really good players that have what would be described as very ugly UIs. I mean, I'm not going to say that they're bad UIs because they obviously work, but kind of ugly UIs in like a general sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that those UIs do that is different from like a more standardized UI setup is that it displays everything. It's like in a different way. Like if this thing over here is very different visually than the thing over here, it doesn't look good because there's no like symmetry in icon size or textures or borders or all of these things, right? But it stands out more. It becomes different. So there's an argument that having things be different is good because it makes you think about it differently. I don't personally like it, but I thought it was an interesting take.
Yeah, I guess
think
it's one
as
of
long
those.
as everything is. Oh, sorry, you go.
No. We hear from you first, me second. Please go.
I guess, and it's a super quick one. As long as like the information is like centralized, like that's the main, I think, like objective of a good UI. Your eyes just process information better when it's like right smack bang in the middle of your visual field. So like as long as the UI is dragging everything sort of towards that central region, like at least all of the stuff that you need to pay attention to. Because yeah, like where Blizzard puts your health bar in the top, is it yeah, like right in the top corner
left.
of the screen? Like
Top
that's
left, yeah.
that's terrible, man. That's the worst spot for it.
Am I dying?
No, you're fine. Don't worry,
Especially
buddy.
got a big monitor.
Don't hurt your neck, too.
I'm in
Don't hurt your neck.
As important as the minimap, same level.
Yeah.
That's a
Where
really good
am I?
point. What do you guys think about the whole quasi? Let me clarify. I'm not saying what do you think about the quasi UI situation, but what does it say that somebody has, taken the quasi UI, they're now maintaining it, they're working on it, for the community. What does that say about that specific UI, good, bad, or otherwise? I don't know. Do you guys have a perspective on
anything I can milk for drama content with the whole UI. It's like a UI gate. I feel like I don't know.
Yeah,
it's absolutely crazy. I have no teams. I don't really care one way or the other. Like they can figure out what's good or not. But I find it interesting to read, and anything I can milk for drama views is good.
Yeah,
I have no idea because I haven't seen, like I haven't played with the UI, so it could be awesome or terrible. I have no clue, and I also don't know who is the one that is like maintaining it. If it's gonna be because I read the announcement that someone said I'm gonna work on it for a while. Like it didn't look like it was some sort of committed, like for the future kind of endeavor. It was more like, yeah, we ripped this for public. Here it is.
Right.
We're gonna keep it up maybe for a few weeks, and not something that's gonna last for like 2 years for the entire expansion, for example. But
yeah,
if
I'm looking at the page right now. It says since I added a few new features and fixes important to me, I'll continue doing that for at least until a little while into midnight. So yeah, there's no guarantee.
At least until a little while.
it's it's not that encouraging. So
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not going to sit here and disparage anyone for doing something that a lot of people are very happy to see done. But yeah, I'd be curious to see if they maintain it throughout midnight and or beyond midnight. And if they do, like, are they going to keep calling it quasi UI? Like, I'm sure they would change the name of it. And then I don't know, but it's something that sprang up, or something that I was curious about. If any of you out there listening have an opinion, feel free to share it with us. And speaking of opinions here, let's go ahead and jump down into the third poll here. The question asks, how do you feel about your current UI setup? A solid 50% of people say it's clean and intentional. And 40% people say, well, it's still changing. I'm still working on it. And yeah, that's definitely, I feel like mine's 90%. Like I'm 90% there, but that last 10%, it's all about pixel perfection and just making sure I got the right combination of things. I know for me, I love working on my UI. It's a love-hate relationship because I could spend weeks on my UI. I'm one of those weirdos. Love working on my UI. Do you guys like working on UIs in games like WoW?
I love it. I love it now because there's nothing to do.
Right.
If I have to work on my UI when Mythic Plus is open, or when I have to look at like logs for progress, I'm gonna be really pissed. I'm only happy now. I'm only happy now to work on my UI because there's nothing to do. I give it like 2-3 more weeks, and then I want to be done with it. Hopefully.
Yep. That's how I feel too. Yeah. What about you, other two dudes?
Yeah, I think I'm happy with the way it looks. Like, I'm one of those that give my UI for Twitch subscribers. So make sure to check out the Shelly UI, definitely. Plug.
Plug.
Plug. But it's so for me, it's like a lot of work to make sure that it's functional for like all the other classes. If I only had to do Warlock, I'm pretty sure that I would be done. But it's a lot of work to be done with updating information and all the changes and adding the Blizzard's constantly adding stuff to the cooldown manager. Even for Warlock, they recently added. Thank God they added Apex talents for demo that you can actually see how long it's up. Like, I don't understand how they didn't do that when they introduced Apex talents, but it's finally there. So it's a long process, but fairly happy with the results so far.
What about you, Bog?
Similar sort of boat. I think I'm pretty happy with how it's looking. Like Eisen said, I'm happy to tinker and fidget now when like there's not any pressure to get it right straight away. But if it's something like, if something goes wrong like mid-key when Mythic Plus starts next season, I'm going to be a very unhappy camper. But yeah, I mean, like, I think it's got, I've always had a fairly sort of like defaulty style UI anyway. So like, it probably wasn't quite as jarring for me as, say, for someone who used like really heavily edited UIs in the past. Yeah. So
do you use the standard player frames? Do you use standard Blizzard player and target frame?
Yeah.
That's
even
that's my definition. Like, if someone's like if they claim natty, then you use standard player.
I'm like a bartender enjoyer.
I can't do it. Like, I swear, I die if I use Blizzard standard. I just die. I don't like instinctively or intuitively see my HP when it's like a bar inside the larger frame.
Yeah, I also don't like
portraits. I need the big box. I need the big box that is just purple and it goes down.
Have you guys experimented having like the personal resource bar, whatever it is, like right under or on your character? I tried like going into 12.0. I tried to get comfortable with that, but I just went back to, player bar, target bar.
Yeah. Yep.
The personal one under your character is very awkward. It seems to stick in a really weird spot on the screen. Yeah. I've been using Sensei's like personal resource bar, and that seems to do like mostly what like WeakAura is used to do in terms of putting that resource bar like in a good spot. I don't know, because it moves with your character as well, so like it seems to get in the way of things. It bothers me. I don't like the Blizzard one.
Yeah.
The next, oh, by the way, I completely forgot. If you guys out there listening have any questions for these guys or about what they do or a topic we're discussing, please type in the command question. I cannot believe I have not referenced that once this entire episode, so forgive me. You can ask a question and I'll do my best to get to it. The next poll asks the question, what makes Mythic Plus feel intimidating to most players? So you can answer that poll as you're listening to us yap about this next section. And I want to know, because all of you guys do Mythic Plus at a fairly high level, right? What's one thing that Mythic Plus does really well as a learning environment? I'm not talking about like that 0.1%er Bog, okay? We're not talking about plus 22s or whatever. But what's one thing that Mythic Plus does really well as a learning environment these days?
I think the entry into the system's like pretty smooth these days, like in terms of the fact that, like, your plus 2s through to your plus 10s are fairly, like, they're so forgiving on mistakes that I think it's like fairly easy for majority of players to dive in. Like, the fact you could have someone AFK at the entrance, You could probably have 2 people AFK at the entrance in like a +4 and like still time the dungeon. So I like that it's I like that the onboarding is like at a very, very low sort of like threshold because it just lets more people get into it.
Yeah, it's the nature of the difference between Mythic Plus and Raid, because Raid goes into enormous chunks, right? It's either normal, heroic, or Mythic. That's it. It's not that you can go step by step. But Mythic Plus, you can go, +2 to +3 to +5 to +8, +10. So you have much easier time understanding, or that realization when an ability you used to ignore in a +2 starts chunking for 40% of your health in a +10. So you have that slow realization of things that is much better in Mythic Plus in terms of PvE compared to the Raid as a learning environment.
It's almost like a leveling experience where you keep getting new spells as you level, and then it's like, oh, I have this new spell now. But instead of that, it's like, oh, there's this new spell that the enemies do that I need to care about.
It didn't used to exist. It actually was there all the time. It's just that you didn't care about it.
Exactly.
Now it does something though.
So then you have to do something to it. So I think the learning curve for that is really good, and I also think Mythic Plus teaches people that might only have done raiding in the past to actually use their interrupt and CC abilities, because it's more impactful, and that will then translate into when they go into a raid now, maybe they'll actually kick the mob in the corner that's standing out there, or use the leg sweep on the mob.
I don't think
they will. Probably not.
I mean, they will at least have it keybound. Hopefully.
Probably not. Lawful Gray from Twitch chat asks, do you feel like Mythic Plus having a timer in itself makes people not want to get into it, even when there's plenty of time to complete each dungeon?
But there's Mythic Zero.
That's fair, but I mean, what does it say that there are? Because I hear this from time to time, like, I don't want to do Mythic Plus, or I'm scared to do Mythic Plus because of the timer. I do hear it. I mean, what do you think that... I'm not making fun of anyone to be. This is not me poking fun at people, but I am curious. What do you think that says about the experience of Mythic Plus as a whole, I suppose?
People don't like failing, and I think like Mythic Plus is same as Raid, right? But like, I don't know, a failure in Mythic Plus seems to hit people differently than like wiping on a Raid boss. And like, I think like bricking keys is just part of the process. Like at a certain point, you're just going to brick like 9 out of 10 keys, and that's just how it works, sort of thing. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
No, I think that's fair. I think it is a mental state to where you have to be comfortable with failure, and a lot of people maybe aren't comfortable with failure. They there's that anxiety, there's that social pressure, like, oh my god, you didn't kick that NPC in the corner. We wiped. Way to go, dude. It's one of those experiences, and pugs can be quite unforgiving. What do you guys think?
I definitely think people need to be nicer to each other. Like, there's way too much. There's way too much like blaming other people, especially when probably the person doing the blaming could have done something different to resolve the situation, or at least make it easier. But saying that Mythic Plus shouldn't have a time limit, I think that is a bad take. And if you're not comfortable with going into it, then like either it's a social thing that you're worried that you're going to disappoint people, or that you're not good enough, or whatever, then either like get friends or get good, one or the other, or do Mythic Zero. That doesn't have a time limit.
The whole time limit is a problem. Sits in the same table eating lunch with the damage meter is toxic type of argument. You have to deal with it. There is a timer, because the argument that yes, it's heard all the time isn't just that there is a timer, that's why I don't do Mythic Plus. It's more like, I want the same difficulty of Mythic Plus. I don't want to do Mythic Zero because it's too easy for me. I want to do a +22, but without the timer though. That's what many players seem to think would make them enjoy more Mythic Plus. And then every time people come in and say, people would just AFK for last, and every single CD, every single pool, every dungeon would take 3 hours, and it goes back and forth like this without ever finding a solution. And the solution is already here. Keep the timer. That's what Mythic Plus is for. There isn't really much else about it for me.
The timer is what makes it good too. Like, I mean, the fact that, like, especially if you're doing a non-resilient key, right? Like, if it's you know that, like, you have to lock in, and it feels good when you sort of like overcome that pressure, I suppose. Like, yeah, it's not the nicest feeling when you brick a key for one reason or another, but like I think the timer, I know, it adds stakes to the situation. If you could just throw your head at, like, yeah, I don't know how high people would even be able to get. Like, could you do like a plus 24 during season 3 if you had no timer and you could just smash your head against it for hours? Like, that doesn't really sound much
dungeons,
fun.
Yeah, like
You probably could, yeah.
Timer's one of
Gambit,
those.
You could probably do
Go ahead.
26.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, timers are probably one of those things to where it's, you know, Blizzard's protecting players from themselves kind of a situation because of what you just said. If there wasn't a timer, then people would spend all day in there just trying to, you know, overcome obstacles and whatnot. It's a slippery slope. Have you guys
They do it with resilient keys at the moment. That's
I-
sort of
what
what
I
the
would-
system has made happen.
Yeah, what I would be super down for is having something that is made for a non-timed 5-man, basically like a raid, like a 10 boss raid designed for 5-man, where you are just like, the bosses are hard and complex, to a certain degree at least, and the loot reflects it, and then you're not on a timer, like similar to like the good old ones from Classic, Blackrock Depths. Like,
we could-
I mean, that's
We
could
kind of
call
like
them-
mega dungeons, right?
I was gonna say we could call them mega. You took it from me.
no, but
They,
okay, but
they can
they're
be
not
bigger than a dungeon, mega
No,
dungeon.
but they need to they count, yes, okay, but they can be what I mean by that is that basically mega dungeon concept, but the bosses are longer, more mechanics, and more difficult to execute than what they are right now. I don't think that it's not something that necessarily should be accomplishable for everyone that plays the game, but it's something that if you don't want to have like a more of a 5-man challenge, then you can bash your head against that.
Yeah. I'm you know, simultaneously I'm a big fan of Blizzard swinging for the fences, and like with Labyrinths coming up as an example, it's a delve thing. I love seeing them experiment and try new things. Simultaneously, I feel like they don't always, you know, knock it out of the park. So it's just a matter of, well, is it good?
Yeah.
Does it actually serve a purpose? Are people happy with it? I mean, what was Dastardly Duos? Is that what it was called a few seasons back? What was that?
Oh yeah, I didn't play that. I was
Yeah,
kind of
a
busy
lot
at the time.
of people hated. I actually wasn't playing WoW during that season, but a lot of people hated on that game mode or whatever it was. Real quick, have you guys done a lot of beta testing in Mythic Plus? Do you like the first season, the dungeon pool? Not to lead the witness here, but I love it. I think the first season, the dungeons are fantastic. What do you guys think?
Haven't done a huge amount, but like from what I've seen and what I have done, I quite like the dungeons so far. That's probably all I've got to say. I think they're good. I think it's going to be a good season. It'll just be interesting to see how the season pans out with the like add-on and class changes that have sort of gone on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more curious to see like what the bottleneck is at like high level keys now that like some of these things have been removed, but the dungeons themselves are cool. Like they're all fairly good dungeons. So I think it'll be a fun season from that point of view.
They did some changes recently where they it reduced the timer and a lot of the keys, and also did some other changes that basically means you're going to be doing lower keys with a bigger emphasis on output, damage output, and in order to time set keys. So I think that's a good direction to go. It feels better when you deplete because you didn't do enough damage than depleting because you just get one shot by every single ability in the dungeon. So I think that's a good thing that they did that. So, and for the dungeon pool, fairly happy. I think I don't know why I'm not a big fan of Pit to Saron. It just feels like Wrath, but not in a good way. But the rest of the dungeons are good.
Eisen, what about you? Have you had any experience with that first season? First season dungeons?
I was just trying to parse how many of the dungeons I was doing after they got nerfed over time. Because I too hated Pit of Sauron and Misera Caverns, but
What? I
Which is
love
one
my.
of the new-
Yeah,
Get out.
Caverns is so good.
Horrible take.
yeah, no, but the balancing early on was crazy, especially on tanks on that dungeon. But
Yeah.
over time, it was like they were just dying in two hits. But now it's much better. As a dungeon, it's great. I still don't like Pit of Sauron, but the new dungeons are cool. I feel like still the main issue is going to be obviously with the tuning, because we are still living under this promise from Blizzard that they're going to change they want part of the consequence of changing our availability to add-ons was also changing the mechanics of encounters and trash mobs and basically fights, like for example not including nearly as many one-shot mechanics that would have required you to be able to see defensives on players as a healer, or being able to have an interrupt tracker to properly stop them from casting. So that would also have to happen, because I think it's been since Shadowlands which was a very heavy Mythic Plus damage first kind of expansion, where the healers were just put in just to do as much damage as they could. After that, we have had this spiking of damage taken starts being more important, staying alive starts being more important, healers or even DPS start running absorb trinkets because they want to stay alive. They don't bother about the damage, just survive to the end of the key. I think that's what I would like to see. Fewer one-shots, making the time for a key becomes harder based on the damage you can squeeze in, other than what's the maximum key you can survive one-shots on.
Do you
I feel like
think
that would be much better for the health.
I
of Mythic
definitely
Plus.
I definitely agree with you. Do you think that Blizzard has accomplished that based on what you've seen, experienced, read, whatever?
I have something on this. They
Sure.
have added. They have done a lot when it comes to damage intake and like abilities that do damage to your group. A lot of the things now are either a hit and then a dot, or just a heavy dot over like 6 seconds, rather than just a plain one shot. Like in the past, especially like Dragonflight, it was just like bang, and then you live or you die. Now it's like bang, 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 bang. So, but like smaller bangs. So it's a bit easier. It's not necessarily easier to deal with because you still have to do the same amount of healing, but it feels like you have a way to deal with it rather than just be like, okay, you just throw your hands up in the air. If I live, I live. If I die, I die. You can actually, it gives more healers more agency, I feel like, and that's a good thing.
What do you think, Eisen? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, you do have. It's just that obviously being Mythic Plus endless is scaling. You obviously have the issue of how far it's gonna go. But for now, in the changes they have done, it's essentially a lot of those are gonna be double hits, where it's the initial hits and then the initial hit and then the rot damage. So obviously, even as you scale higher in keys, it's going to be still much harder for you to be one shot by those mechanics, as well as adding more mechanics that hit like 2 players instead of just 1. So that in fact you're even taking more damage now. It's just that it's slightly reduced on 2 players. So ultimately, it's easier for you to not see one shots anymore, even though it's possibly like requires more healing in total, but the risk of one shots is lower. So I think overall is better. At least for healing, it's better.
Do you guys think that, again, with Midnight coming in, we've got the prune, we've got the UI changes, we have these one-shot changes or lack thereof that we're talking about. Do you think that Mythic Plus going in Midnight will help players? Like, is it going to help create better players, or will it just continue filtering out people who don't get it? They don't adapt fast enough.
I think
I'm not sure.
I think it
How
does.
do you guys always do that? It doesn't matter how long.
I
I was just waiting this time. I was just waiting.
It was just a game of chicken.
Yeah.
Real quick. What's funny is I upload an audio only version on Spotify. That might be the longest pause we've ever had in an episode. People are gonna be like, "Wait, did the episode turn off? What's going on here?"
What's going on?
We're just waiting for each other, you know. I'm going first before I forget.
Okay.
I think it does because now, you know, one of the excuses that I want to call it excuses players said before for not improving Mythic Plus is that they didn't have the tools. They had to, if they wanted to improve, find them from add-ons, had WeakAuras give it to them, get some other ways to get this kind of information. Now, supposedly, the cooldown manager can do the job for your own character. You don't have the need or the availability of using things like Omnis CD or interrupt trackers or WeakAuras anyways. So most of the information is already on your screen for the enemies and what they do and how to deal with them. So I think it should do a better job at allowing players to improve in Mythic Plus because there is much less information hidden from them now compared to before. If they still don't improve, then it's a different thing. But at least they have the tools now, better tools than before.
They don't improve, they suck, is what you're saying, right? Get good, Boggy. What do you think?
I mean, I guess now if people are dying less from like one shots and more from rot damage, then like you can't have the argument of like not knowing that you needed to press defensive because you get that extra couple of seconds to press it. If the keys do swing more into like a damage output sort of season, then if you don't time a key because you didn't do enough damage, then you're clearly aware that it's because you didn't do enough damage. So I suppose that might force improvement because it's more obvious why something went wrong, or like more obvious like where you need to improve to actually time it next time. I guess the thing there is that like that then comes back to like, does the person actually want to improve? The way our player base has this like really weird affinity sometimes of like feeling like they're always right about everything, and then like it's always someone else's fault when nothing
Healer?
goes right. So healer question mark or yeah
Hello?
maybe that's
Hello?
just gaming in general. Like I'm not sure, but I think if it's more obvious why the key failed, then I would then hope that people would understand what they need to learn to have that not happen again.
Shella, did you want to say something real quick?
I just wanted to add to like the M plus thing where like it's looking like it's going more into like a damage output phase thing or damage output oriented in order to time the key. It also means that you need to do more aggressive pulls. Like you need to like double and triple and quadruple pull more, and you're gonna see like the more they go in this direction, you're just gonna see some wild stuff, which I think is maybe it's even a good thing. It almost becomes more like MOP challenge modes in a way, not as extreme, obviously, but where you're just doing massive pulls. It might skew class balance a bit, but I think it's a good. I think it's a good thing because it's more fun to pull big than to pull 5 mobs and then each of them are doing their own thing and it feels like a rain encounter.
That's a fair point. Big pulls.
As long as you don't get overwhelmed too much.
It raises the question, you know, if you're pulling, let's say, 3 packs at once, are we back at the situation where we have too many casters and not enough interrupts? I'm not really sure, obviously, but that sprang to my mind. Bogman, how are you doing on time? For those that don't know, it's Monday where this guy lives. It's Sunday for the rest of us. You got to get to work in a minute, right?
No, I'm fine. I start in like an hour or so, but I start from home as well, so I'm not. Oh well, actually, I'll check my calendar, but I should be fine for a little bit.
Okay. We just have a few more minutes. I'm not putting you on the spot. I just want to make sure that I'm not being irresponsible. I don't want you to feel
No, you're good.
Okay, just making sure. All right, go ahead.
I have to add one more thing actually.
Please.
Sorry for yapping, but
I'm sorry. Let me interrupt you, sir. You are here to yap. Please yap as much as you want. I'm serious.
So they have reduced the amount of spam casters by a large amount, and they have increased the duration of lockouts from your kick. They have reduced the amount of AoE CC that people have by a little bit. Some people still have a lot, but they like Hunter, the knock up trap is gone. I believe, for every spec, and like a lot of other stuff. So it means that there is less spells to stop, but also less tools to stop them with. But I think that if you are unable to track other people's interrupt, there should not be spam casters in the game at all. But there still are. And it feels really punishing when you sit in a group and it's like, is he gonna kick? Am I gonna kick? Okay, I kick. And then everyone kicks. You don't even know that everyone kicked. And then it's just spam casting for the next 20 seconds. I think that every kick needs to, I mean, maybe this is a controversial take, but I think every caster in the current format should have at least a 15-second cooldown on their interrupt, so that a melee kick, like 15 seconds, can solo one mob. And then it's like you can assign one player to one mob. He always does that mob if you want to. Now you have control over it. And then you can tune the spell that's being cast accordingly, so it's punishing to let it go through. But spam casting should not be a thing anymore without the ability to track other people's cooldowns.
Yeah. I know that they've definitely made improvements in that regard with, no longer having a full stun DR and various interrupts locking targets down for much longer. I can't sit here and say that, it's all going to be perfectly fine, but I'm interested I'm excited to get in there and see how it all unfolds. The poll for this section of the show asks the question, what makes Mythic Plus feel intimidating to most players? 48% of people said the group pressure, toxicity, dare I say. And then 40% of players said the knowledge gaps. So there's a lot of that social pressure, people being mean, and then just not knowing what to do in any given situation. Interestingly enough, nobody said that Mythic Plus was too difficult. 0 responses for difficulty. 10%, 12% said time investment. So what do you guys think? I mean, group pressure versus knowledge gaps. Where do you think? What do you think that says about the people responding to this poll?
I'm assuming, obviously, not many answers for difficulty and time investment, because that's when you will discover it at the higher level of Mythic Plus. Those two things. So for the other side, group pressure and knowledge gaps, the fact that you don't know much, you are joining groups where you think the others know and you don't, so you're the one that could be looked at by others for failing. And then the knowledge gaps is also because, like most games, you watch videos, you watch streamers, you can see the level that Mythic Plus is supposed to be played at, or
could be played at.
You could be playing at one day, and then you deplete a 9 because you don't interrupt. You see where you're at. You see what's your level. It doesn't feel good. It makes you feel worse. It makes you feel bad because then someone is going to flame you maybe in the group, which is going to make you feel bad and pressure to join other groups, etc., etc. So I think I would agree more or less with the answers given. I don't see those, but for most players, that's what I think would be a problem.
It's really
Bog,
funny with
Go ahead.
with toxicity. Like I know it is a thing that exists in most games, but I find with Mythic Plus it's it actually diminishes the higher up you get. There's like this awkward sort of like middle zone with keys where it's like harder than your weekly vault keys, but not quite at that sort of like really high end pushing level. Most people I've met over the last like 18 months doing like title level keys are really nice. And like they're all just like really cool people. Like, there's a few bad apples here and there, but the toxicity almost seems to like vanish a little bit the higher up you get, because I guess everyone starts to then understand that
wait, there's
you're
an
in this
elo
dungeon.
hell? Oh no.
I would argue, at least for toxicity, there is. Yeah, it's I guess at a certain point, everyone starts to understand, like, it's a 30-40 minute dungeon, and if it's pretty easy for one person to mess up one thing, and then the group wipes. Like, there's no reason to be an asshole about it. So, like that middle zone is where it gets really, really tough, because it's like people aren't quite good enough to push past it, but the mechanics are punishing enough to kill them. So everyone starts flaming one another. But then if you push past that, it's actually quite pleasant.
Yeah, I find a lot of people like to lash out. And someone said something about this earlier in the show. A lot of people love lashing out and running their mouths when they, in turn, are often the cause of the problems. Like, there's a phrase like typically the loudest person in the room is the dumbest person in the room, or something like that. I'm butchering the figure of speech of the phrase.
That is not true.
Calm down, mister. Relax, you daggum warlock. We're gonna fast track our way through this last little section here. The last poll question asks right now, how much trust do you have in Blizzard's decision making? And man, that can be taken a thousand different ways. But this week we heard news about a cosmetic bundle with trading tenders being sold, and they've done that before. We've heard about the China exclusive cosmetics and mounts and stuff like that. Do you guys care? Clearly some people do. But do you guys care about like region exclusive, region lock stuff? Do you care about selling trader tenders? Or are you just here to game?
My girlfriend needs to tell me to get a transmog. Like, that's how little I care. Like, I will get a transmog because she thinks my dwarf looks ugly. So I really I could not care. Wait, I could not? I don't know.
You could not care less, yeah.
Yeah. I could not care less.
Yeah, could not care less.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, transmogs can be useful. I think that sometimes when you raid, there are some color palettes on the floor and on the boss that if you change a transmog to be like, for example, if you're in the middle of purple shit like we have been in this entire expansion, if you turn yourself flaming red or bright yellow, it actually helps you move around or like notice where you are.
Isn't that what outline mode is for, though?
I've never heard that. I've never heard about that before, but that is
besides
really
putting obviously using a good old Wikora, you know, with the crosshair in the middle of the screen or where you are to see where you are. Obviously, I just think it's easier to see you.
Do you not use outline mode, Eisen?
No, it's made by Blizzard.
What was that scoff for, man? What the heck? No, who am I? What do you mean?
I'll just use a crosshair Wikora, or you know, the red dot on your character. That's just.
I like outline mode. I think outline mode is cool. Bog, what about you, man? What do you think? Do you even care about the trader tenders, the region lock stuff?
Not really. I'm sort of in the boat where as long as there's no competitive advantage to any of it, then like, you know, I don't really mind if I miss out on, you know, cosmetic stuff. Like, if I want it, I'll get it, and if not, then not.
I think, you know, the four of us are in agreement with this because, like you said, there's no competitive advantage. It doesn't matter when it comes to rating, mythic plussing, et cetera, et cetera. But and try to step back and think about it from the perspective of, like, you know, a Touchpad Warrior. I had him on the show a couple months ago. That gentleman has over 1,300 mounts. And I'm not saying he cares. I'm just using him as an example to be clear. You know, he'll never be able to get that mount. And then now there are housing mains, and there might be some people that hear that phrasing and they think to themselves, what? How's it? But no, it's a real thing, of course, and more power to them. They'll never have the decor that is being released elsewhere and whatnot. So it's one of those questions to where, you know, like you said, I couldn't care less. It doesn't bother me, but it clearly bothers some other people. So like where... I mean, I was about to ask, where do you draw the line? But clearly Blizzard drew the line, and that's just the way it is. So anyway, I don't know if there's more to say about that, but that's kind of just where my head went. Do you...
I don't know where the line should get drawn. I mean, like, as you can tell, like, I collect Pokemon cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it would be very easy for me to complain about the fact that I can't get my hands on every Pokemon card because, you know, that's literally multiple millions of dollars worth of cards. So you sort of, I don't know, maybe, and yeah, I don't want to invalidate anyone's feelings around, like, because I can see why people are upset. Like, it does make sense to me. But I guess, like, it's okay to not have literally everything that's ever released in the game.
I think that's
my take.
Actually, I do want to invalidate some people's feelings. I don't see this idea sometimes that you are just a God-given right to collect everything. Sometimes you don't have to. Like, sometimes I happen to read across the community players like, why isn't this transmog or this achievement, the immortal title or Black Portal Drake, why can't I get it anymore? Because you can't. It just happened to come out in 2010. It's been out for 6 months, and they removed it. There is no need for it to come back. It doesn't hurt anyone. I know it sucks if you have 1300 mounts that you can't get 1301 with that Drake. But like, for example, if I don't PvP and I missed out on 150 PvP mounts and Glad and Elite sets, I'm not actively angry because I missed the chance on getting them, or even if I weren't raiding or I missed out, for example, on Hall of Fame or Cutting Edge, whatever which one it is, that gave you a special mount. Not that once Cutting Edge goes away, you only have a 1% chance, but like it goes away completely.
Yeah.
If I can't get Cutting Edge, I don't get the mount. It's like I wouldn't get angry about not being able to have that anymore.
But on the other side, would you be angry if they brought it back for whatever reason? Because I would personally not. Like I have my Armani Warbear, the OG one from TBC, and I'm very yeah. I'm very proud of it, and it's like a very fond memory getting it back in the day. But if they were to bring it back, it would be like, did they have to do that? But it's like, it's not my mount, it's their mount. They made it, it's their pixels. So I feel like people that get up on the other side of that coin, people that get upset about mounts coming back is a little bit, it's not weird. It's just, I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
The only one I can maybe get behind is like the ones that are like specifically like the TCG mounts. Like if they were to come back and it's like, well, some people have spent like, I think sometimes like literally thousands of real life dollars, and then it comes back as like the Spectral Tiger. So like I can definitely see that being like something that's. But if it's bringing back a mount that you can earn in a similar way to how it was earned in the past, then like exclusivity is cool, but it's not that big of a deal, I suppose. Like no one's really that impressed. I think everyone thinks that everyone else is more impressed with their mounts.
They are diluted. When they bring back mounts like that, like any kind of mounts that they bring back from the past, I got Ashes of Alar in a box, like a time walking box. But when they bring back stuff, you could always get, it was the 1% chance or whatever it was, right? But when they bring back stuff like that, then they kind of dilute the value of each one. I mean, it's just like money in a sense, right? Like the more money is in circulation, the less each money is worth. So I think that there's if they do too much of the bringing back the old stuff, if they were to go down that path, then they would just dilute the value of the stuff that is already there. Not necessarily for the person that has it, but for the way that it is viewed by other people. It's like people see a cool mount from way back, and it's like, oh my god, that's the original Gladiator mount from Wrath. It's like, that's so cool.
That's the definition of cool mount. It only became a cool mount because of that, not because Blizzard gave it out for, what was that, the Traders Tenders 1 month subscription or something, right?
Yeah.
If you see the Black Karaji battle tank, like the Ankaraj mount from back in the day, if you see that in retail, like that's genuinely cool. Yeah. I'd be upset to see some of those come back because it's like that's
for
just
sure.
It's a status symbol. I mean, right?
But I mean, it's more like I'm upset not for the person that has the mount, but I'm upset that they have just diluted their own currency of what is like a cool mount.
I mean, the mount itself is ugly. Like it's not, we're not talking about a good-looking mount, but it's the value, the invisible value that it has.
So, earlier we talked about the Toronto thing. We've talked about Midnights and prunes and UIs and stuff like that. And we've referenced for, multiple shows now and multiple months now heading up to Midnight with Blizzard announcing things. I want to know from your perspectives, like when Blizzard announces something new, do you find yourselves being more optimistic or skeptical these days?
I would say it depends on the category of things they are announcing. If they're announcing anything, since we talked about it, if they're announcing anything story related, right? More than optimistic or skeptical at this point, I'm just hopeful, that it improves. If it's something about add-ons and interface, I'm skeptical. If it's about at the race for now, for example, the way they have been developing the Mythic Plus and the raids right now is more optimistic. So I wouldn't consider Blizzard this full unique package where everything is seen the same. It depends basically on their departments, on who is working on what, and how
Sure.
they've been doing currently right now.
Shella, do you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, no, I think I want to pretty much echo Eisen's view on that. It's like it depends a lot on what specifically is you're hopeful or skeptical about, and I always hope everything's gonna be good, but I am a bit concerned about the speed of the whole UI thing happening right now and the add-on pruning, because it just seems like they aren't doing it fast enough compared to like when Midnight is coming out.
Well, too bad. It is what it is.
Yeah,
I mean, we do have a written proof that this is true, though, because we have from Eon's
Yeah.
mouth himself saying that this was meant for the Last Titan and not for Midnight. They said that after they started working on it, they were so fast, they thought they could speed things up and drag it to an earlier to this release. So and then they followed up by saying, so because of this, don't expect things to be ready at launch. We can basically only push the system.
why would the game be ready at launch? Why?
We can
Why
only
would it be
have,
ready?
we can only have the systems like critical up and running, and the rest will be worked through alongside the expansion. That
Hopefully.
was from an actual interview. So we know that that's the case about when it comes to add-ons.
Why would you
UI.
release a finished product if you can just have people pay for an unfinished product?
That's true. All right. Bog's got to get to work. We're going to get you here. I'm going to get you guys out of here. Real quick, the last poll asks right now, how much trust do you have in Blizzard's decision making? The 44% of people that answered said, some. And the 36% said, not much. So I feel like Blizzard's got a little bit of work to do in the trust department. And hopefully, with some decisions they have coming at midnight, they can earn some of that trust back. All right, guys, you have been nothing short of fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today and your responses and your well thought out answers and whatnot. We're gonna go around the table one last time and ask one last question before we get out of here. The question is, if somebody logs into WoW for the first time at midnight, what's one thing that you hope doesn't scare them away?
Salatat's feet.
That's fair. All right.
One thing that I hope doesn't scare them away.
So it's about for the first time in WoW in midnight, or a WoW player that logs in for the first time in midnight. Which one are we talking about here? Like
Whichever
a brand new
one,
player?
Yeah, sure, man. Whichever one you want to talk about.
If it's a brand new player, I would kind of hope that they would default back to doing like the classic story arcs for each of the races. I'm not like the hugest fan of the new player, like streamlined, what's it called, like Exile's Reach or whatever.
Yeah, the
I think it just
experience.
removes. Yeah, I get it. It's streamlined and that, but I think like I would maybe hope that they would go towards picking the option of doing the more classic approach, because it's a little bit more lore and it's a little cooler and all that sort of jazz. But I don't know if that answers the question, but I'll roll with that.
Does. Absolutely. Eisen, did you have?
If it's a WoW player that has just went to sleep at the end of this season and came back just for midnight, I hope they just don't get too shocked about what they used to have for add-ons. It's not all terrible. Just take a breather. There are definitely going to be some guides and some links you can already take. People will already have their profiles set up. You can get going. Might not be as good as before. It definitely isn't as good as before. It might not even be ever again, but it's not as bad. Just keep going for a while. Keep trying for a little bit. It's gonna get at least better.
My buddy Drewish in Twitch chat said Lua errors. Hopefully Hopefully those Lua errors don't scare people away. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your weekend. Bog, I hope you have a great day at work. I mean that sincerely. Thank you so much for waking up early. Give it a round of applause to these guys, but especially Bog for waking up at the crack of dawn or before that for being here today. So I really, really appreciate it. You can find these guys at the links, or rather the URLs below their webcams. But again, you can find all of their links in the YouTube description. Could you guys just let's go around. We'll start with Eisen real quick. Tell everyone who you are, where you can be found, and why they should watch you, and then I'll get you out of here.
Well, I'm Eisen. I usually tend to make content on YouTube around PvE content, generally Mythic Plus and raid focused. Once upon a time, I was told I used to stream. It might come back one day, not now though. So for now, we stay on videos, and that's it, really.
You're awesome, man. Shallow, what about you? Where can people find you? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on the link below my picture. It's like down here, I think, at Shelativen1 on Twitch. I also put up some videos on YouTube occasionally, mostly just the gameplay stuff. If you like high-end Mythic Plus and raiding, definitely check out the channel.
All right, Bog, bring it home. What you got?
So I guess, yeah, streams below my big ugly head at the moment. So like I haven't streamed much for the last like couple of weeks, but come midnight that'll be more frequent. There's just not a whole lot to stream at the moment, so I don't want to like bore people. Plus, if I stream, everyone will ask me to open Pokemon packs, and then I won't have any money. So, and then Bog's Adventures on YouTube, make Mythic Plus content for the most part. Yeah, that's about it.
You're awesome. What's your favorite Pokemon? Quick.
The Shinx line, Shinx, Luxio, Luxray.
Fair enough. I'm a nerd. I like Charizard. I'm lame like that. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you. Charizard for the win, guys. Again, thank you so much. Get out of here. Give these guys a round of applause. I will see you guys next week for episode 15. But this is episode 14 in the bag. My name's Brutal, and I'll see you next time. All right, cool. You guys can get out of here if you need to. The recording is done. Thank you once again. The time that you guys take out of your weekends means so much to me, and I really do appreciate it. But you guys did great. I mean, not that you need me to tell you that, but you guys did great.
It's good. I always worry with like this sort of stuff. I was just like, I came into it and I'm just like, man, what if like they run out of stuff to talk about and shit like that? And then you look at the time and it's been like 2 hours. So like,
I skipped like I skipped half the questions in the outline, but that's normally how it goes.
Yeah, that was good.
Well, I'm glad. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves, and you guys really were an absolute pleasure to talk to today and hang out with today. So thank you, man. I really do appreciate it. But I know you guys got other things to do, and some people might be watching the old big game today. So get out of here if you need to.
I'm gonna get a snack and level on TBC. That's the plan.
Oh, have fun! Are you playing Warlock on Classic?
Yeah. I'm Warlock
Nice.
on
Nice.
Warlock on Classic. Everywhere I can get away with it, I play Warlock. But yeah,
Well,
I'll see you guys around. Thanks.
You guys are awesome, man. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Gotcha.
Eisen and Bog, it was a pleasure to meet you guys. Sincerely.
Thank you for having me. I'm now going to go get another coffee, and it looks like I'm just sitting in front of my computer writing reports all day. So like, it's actually not that big of a deal.
Nothing wrong with that.
I could probably have to share. It's good. I like it. All right. You guys have
Eisen,
a good weekend.
I wish you too, man. Eisen, I wish we played in the same region. That way I could bug you to heal some keys, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are a few thousand miles and kilometers. Yeah. That's the same actually away. So, okay, I have to go.
You're awesome, man.
I have to go eat right now because that's what we do here. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your night, buddy.
For the podcast.
Be safe.
Of course.
Oh man, I'm so thankful that people continue to join me and join us on these streams. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys as an audience for being here today. I'm just gonna hang out with you for a few minutes. I had something that I was gonna say after the stream, but of course now in typical fashion, I have I wanted to show you my my UI. I said I would do it mid episode, but I just decided not to pull it up because I didn't want anything to be a major distraction. But I was doing some like B-roll footage. Where is this? Hold on, I gotta find this. Give me 1 second. Where is? Nope, that's not it. Never mind. Would this be it? Brutal. Next week's guest, do we have that finalized? We do. I will announce it. I guess I could just go in and announce it now. Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure I have the. Hold on, wait. I gotta get it set up first. Give me 1 second. Is this it? No, that's not it. Hold on. Give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second here. Maybe this here. This. There it is. Yeah, look at that UI, baby. Look at that UI. That is literally the UI you guys will see me using in Midnight for the most part, or for all parts, I should say. So this is me just flying around Warlords of Draenor, just doing my thing, just rocking and rolling, no big deal. And then I think I jumped down here in combat a little bit. Oh yeah, so like here's combat a little bit. You'll notice right here is there's a bug. So I found an interesting bug. Yeah, blank, nice, exactly. I found an interesting bug with Kaliel's tracker, action bars enhanced, and Elv UI. If you have all three of those add-ons turned on, the pet action bar is scaled to this weird size, and you can see it bleeding in over there on the bottom left side of your screen. And I reached out to all three add-on developers, and I haven't heard back from anyone, of course. But I cannot find a way to keep it scaled to the size that I want if I have Kaliel's tracker turned on. So I think this is where I'm trying to figure out what the heck's going on with it. But yeah, really, really frustrating. But other than that, I'm very happy with the outcome of it all. Hold on 1 second. Let me look at. Let me see if I have another video I can pull up here. Hold on. What's this one? Here we go. This is me in where am I? Here we go. This is me in Stratholme here. Just doing a little bit of this way you can see a little bit more combat. Now in the bottom left-hand corner where the chat box is, that's where my webcam will be, my streaming webcam and whatnot will be. But this is ultimately where the UI will sit for the most part. Now off in the far right-hand side of the screen is my minimap and objective tracker. On the far left-hand side of my screen are my action bars. So things that I don't actually need to keep an eye on and things that aren't really important to you as viewers. Oh, by the way, I always forget if you're wondering what I'm doing, I always forget that I have to kill these mobs out here before that door opens to Baron Rivendell, Dare, whatever his name is. Spoiler alert, I did not get the mount. I'm in here to try to get the mount. But this is, yeah, I'm very happy with this right here for the most part. There are a few things that I'll be adjusting and tweaking as the weeks unfold. But very happy with how this all looks and whatnot. So just wanted to show that off real quick. Let me go back to the old, this right here. There we go. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the episode this weekend. I appreciate your interaction and your being here. Thank you very much. I'm going to be rendering that episode here in the next few minutes. It usually takes about 5 or 6 hours. Then I'll get it uploaded to YouTube, and then it'll be live on YouTube. But you probably don't care about that so much. Also, fun fact: I constantly, like literally without fail, every week, and I'm not kidding, I'm not exaggerating or kidding. Every week, I get a comment on this video on YouTube, and the comment goes like this: "Hey man, what are you doing? Why are you uploading a podcast with 40 minutes of nothing like, why are your first 40 minutes completely barren and void of any interaction?" And I always have to respond, this is a live stream, not the edited video. And I guarantee you it's you could go back if you take the time, not that you're going to because that's just a waste of time, but if you took the time and you went back and you actually looked at the comments on the live videos, every single one of them has a comment in that nature. So we'll see what happens this week. We'll see if we can avoid that. I'm not going to hold my breath, but never know, man. You never know. Anyway, my name's Real. I'm going to get out of here, but before I leave, I'm going to go ahead and host another channel. Let me find somebody here to throw some viewers at. And it looks like my buddy Devalin is streaming. Yeah, I'm gonna raid my buddy Devalin. You guys can go hang out with him should you care to. My name is Brutal. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for participating, and thank you for your attention and your conversation and your interaction. I'll see you guys tomorrow for a typical Monday stream. But right now, I'm out of here. I got a video to render. My name is Brutal. Live well, be well, do well. Make sure you guys follow me along here on Twitch and YouTube, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day and enjoy Devalin if you stick around watching them. Bye.